Yeah, hello everyone. You're welcome to this class. All right, so today we'll be talking about interpreting news data. Okay, still on combining fundamental and technical analysis. Mind you, we've not started dealing with technical analysis yet. We want to see that you get to understand fundamental analysis. All right, so today we'll be talking about a few of the news you'll be seeing on Forest Factory. Right, in the previous video we looked at Forest Factory, and yeah, we looked at it. So if you go to Forest Factory, you may see news on CPI, news on interest rate, news on FOMC, news on NFP, non-farm payroll, and all of that. So we want to show you how to interpret some of those news. Okay. All right. So this will help you in your trading. It will help you. So pay attention to the things I'll be saying. All right. So we'll begin with CPI. CPI means Consumer Price Index. All right. The data of CPI is about understanding how the prices of things we buy regularly change over time, right? So when you look at the CPI data in your Forest Factory, you will see the data, all right? Previous, forecast, and actual. Remember, we talked about that in the previous video, right? But I will still go to my Forest Factory, so we look at it again. All right. So when you look at the CPI data, if the number is higher compared to the previous period, it means that the cost of goods and services has gone up. And of course, you know that if prices or cost of goods and services go up in a particular economy, it's not a good thing, right? Investors will want to leave that place, right? Because cost of production have also increased. For the cost of goods and services to increase means cost of producing those goods and services also have increased, and it's not a good thing for an economy. All right, so if you look at the CPI data and it is high, okay, higher than the previous one, it means that the prices of goods and services has gone up. So this is known as inflation. All right, on the other hand, if the number is lower, it means the prices has gone down, which is good. This is known as deflation. So it means now that if CPI data comes out for US dollar, all right, and the price of let's say the previous CPI was 3.5, all right, and the new CPI after the news was released is 3.8, it means that the new data is higher than the previous one. What does it mean? It means that the price of goods and services in the United States has gone up, right? So what do you expect of the US dollar? It will affect the US dollar because investors will want to pull out their money from that economy, right? So when trading currency pairs like US dollar, Japanese yen, okay, you should be expecting the US dollar to fall. Are we together? Yes, you should be. Remember, we talked about quote currency and counter currency, right? So, but if you're trading Euro USD, remember I said USD JPY. Now, USD came first before JPY, right? So it means if the news is negative, US dollar is going to sell. So USD JPY will sell. Are we together? But for Euro USD, we are going to look at these things on the chart, right? But for Euro USD, because Euro is in front, right? If the news is negative, it is going to buy. Are we together? I think I have explained this in one of the videos, but we still look at the chart again. All right. So let's look at the chart now to interpret this. Of course, I just added a few notes here about inflation, so you understand what inflation means and deflation. All right. So what's inflation? Inflation, right? This happens when the price of goods and services in an economy rise over time. When there is inflation, each unit of the currency buys fewer goods and services. Yes. This means that you might have to spend more money to buy the same thing you bought before. Inflation can be caused by various factors such as increase in the cost of production, an increase in demand, or change in government policies. All right. Deflation. In contrast, deflation occurs when the general price level of goods and services decreases over time. This means that each unit of the currency can buy more goods and services. Why this might sound good, deflation can sometimes indicate a slowing economy. Wow, people may delay purchases, right? Waiting for goods to fall further, which can lead to a reduction in production and wages. But both inflation and deflation can have significant effect on an economy and people's life. Maintaining stable inflation is often a goal of monetary policy to ensure a healthy and growing economy. All right, so before we look at NFP, the next news data I would want to share with us how to interpret it. Let's look at the charts. Before then, let's go to our Forex Factory. Remember how to go to your Forex Factory, go to your Chrome, whichever browser you're using, right? And then type my forexfactory.com. It will bring you here, right? In the previous video we talked about this. So CPI is what we are looking at. So CPI was released, I think, on the 12th of October. So we'll come to our calendar here. If you want to go back, you click here. If you want to go forward, you click here. But if you have a particular date in mind that you want to check out, you click here. It will bring this out for you. We are looking at 12, so we click on 12 and we'll click on apply settings. So you can see it has brought us to 12th of October, which is on a Thursday. All right, 12th of October. You can see the US dollar here, 1:30 p.m. GMT +1. The CPI data was released, right? Unemployment claims was also released. So we have CPI, core CPI. Yeah, so now if you look here, you will see actual, forecast, previous, right? Good. Now this is the previous data, right? This is the forecast. This forecast was given by Forex Factory analysts. They've looked at it and they gave their forecast, right? But sometimes the forecast can be different, like very far from the actual outcome of the news. Like here now, this housing price balance for GBP, you can see the previous was -68, forecast was 60, and then the actual was 69. So you can see the difference between the actual and the forecast, right? So what I want you to take note of is that here is actual, right? And here is previous, okay? So let us scroll. This is US dollar CPI, right? Here is previous, remember? And here is actual, right? So these three are all the CPI data, 1, 2, 3, right? So you can see that the previous here and the actual here, we are the same. And even the forecast too, the forecast was correct here. Yeah, but sometimes the difference can be huge, right? But the guys that did the forecast, they tried here. So this is the previous, this is the actual. So this is perfect, okay? Now look at the other one. This is the previous is 0.6, right? Now the actual is 0.4. Now this is good news. This is good news because this is lower. It shows that the prices of goods and services decreased, they reduced. Are we together? The prices of goods and services did what? They reduced. All right, so now you can use a certain unit of a particular currency and buy more goods, right? So this is good news. This is good news. So what does this mean? It means that investors will want to bring in their money into the US economy, and this will boost the US dollar. Are we together? Good. So that is why you can see it's green. It's green. It's green. Green means, yeah, something good, right? All these ones you can see, they are not good news. They are not good news. So this is the other one. It's still the same, right? 3.7, 3.7, right? So, but this can make a difference. This can make a difference. If all of them were the same, the price, it means that the prices of goods and services did not increase, neither did it reduce. It was just in equilibrium. So the effect on the chart might not be so much, right? So but there is a difference here, and the difference is 2.0. That is 0.6, sorry, 0.2 rather, because this is 0.6 and this is 0.4, right? So the prices of things actually reduced. Are we together? So let's look at the chart. Remember, this is 12th of October, right? So let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart. Okay, this is USD JPY. USD JPY. Let's look for 12th of October. 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 Okay, this is 12th of October. You can see that. You can see, look at this cross here. You can see this place is where you have your dates, right? This is where you have your dates. If I take my cursor up, it will be highlighted black, right? You can see Thursday, 12th of October 2023. The news was released at 1:30 GMT plus 1. Remember, 1:30 GMT plus 1, as we saw in Forest Factory. So look at this green candle here. You can see Thursday, 12th October 2023, 13:30. That 13 means 1 p.m. Okay, so 13:30 means 30 minutes past 1 p.m. GMT plus 1. So as we said earlier, it was actually a good news. It was a good news, all right, because the prices of goods and services did what? Dropped. So investors brought in their money. So you can see that price went up. You can see this bullish momentum candle. It moved. Boom. This is a lot of peeps, guys. This is a lot of peeps. This is a lot of peeps, right? Because immediately the news came out, it goes with force. Pam! This is a lot of money. You can catch this. You can catch this. You can catch this. Okay? So already you would have been able to do your technical analysis. All right? You would have been able to do your technical analysis. So immediately the news is coming out, right? And it corresponds with your technical analysis that USD is going to buy. Are we together? It gives you an edge. Okay, remember, we are going to talk technical analysis. We are going to teach all of that, right? Okay, but we just want you to understand fundamental analysis. You can see that the price of USD went up even after this bullish candle. It kept rising and rising and rising and rising till the end of that day. Right? So that is how beautiful fundamental analysis could be. So imagine when you add it up with your technical analysis, it will be more confirmation for you. Are we together? Yeah. So I believe you understood how to interpret the CPI, right? Let me just show us one more, maybe NFP. Okay, NFP. All right, NFP means non-farm payrolls. All right, the data is about understanding the number of jobs added or lost in the economy, excluding farm workers. Let me take it again. Non-farm payroll data is about understanding the number of jobs added or lost in the economy. Of course, this should give you an idea. If more jobs are added in the economy, it's a bonus. It means the economy is doing well. Are we together? Now, look at the difference. For CPI, if the data of the CPI reduces, it means prices of goods and services have what? Reduced, and is a good news. Are we together? But here, if the number of jobs added, okay, if the data for non-farm payroll increases, it means more jobs has been added. Is a good news. So here now, we are not expecting in Forest Factory to see a reduction. All right, we're expecting to see an increase. Are we together? So, but this number of jobs is including farm workers, government employees, and non-profit organization employees. All right, so when you look at the NFP data, if the number is higher than expected, it means that more jobs were added than people predicted, right? If the number is higher. So here now, if the number is higher, is a good news, right? But for CPI, if the number is lower, it's not a good news, right? Good. So it means that more jobs were added than people predicted. This can be a sign of a growing economy. On the other hand, if the number is lower than expected, it means that fewer jobs were added, okay, than people predicted, which might indicate a slowing economy. This information helps us understand how the job market is doing and gives us insight into the health of the economy. If the job market is strong. It suggests that people are getting hired, which can lead to increased spending and economic growth. If the job market is weak, it might mean that people are struggling to find work. All right, which can have a negative impact on the economy. All right, so let's also look at Forest Factory, and then look at trading view. Look at the chart. Right, there is something I didn't get to show you when we talked about CPI, but I will show you that. Okay, now that we're talking about non-farm payroll. Let's go to Forest Factory. So see, non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll is released every first Friday of the month. So we'll come here, we'll go to this October. 6th of October is first Friday of the month. So we apply settings. So it brings us to that date. Right. It's loading. 6th of October is loading. While it's loading, let me show you what I said I would have shown you. Now you could see that for JPY, for USD JPY, it bought. All right, it was a buy. Why? Because USD is in front and JPY came after USD. Are we together? Good. So here now, USD is buying. It simply means that JPY is selling inversely. All right. If there's anything like JPY USD, you would have seen that JPY will be selling. Are we together? So what does this mean? It means if there is any other currency of which USD came after, all right, it will be a sell, not a buy. All right. So let's check it out in Euro USD. Let's check it out there. Let's check it out. Okay. So you can see this Euro USD, right? And the news came out at 1:30, right? So this is 1:30. You can see the bearish momentum candle. In USD JPY, it was a buy, right? Good. But here now you can see that Euro is here and USD is here. So the inverse becomes the case. All right. So I want you to take note of that. That's what I wanted to show you. All right. So let's return to Forest Factory. Okay. So we'll have it here. This is this Friday, 6th of October. All right. Remember my time frame is GMT +1. So you can convert it to whichever time frame you're working with. Okay, so this is a non-farm payroll. All right, non-farm employment change. All right, so it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. So there are several news that came out that day: unemployment change, unemployment rate, but this is our focus, non-farm, right? Okay, so remember, this is previous, right? And this is actual, right? Good. So we said non-farm talks about the number of jobs that were added, all right? That were added to the economy outside of farmers, right? And government employees. All right, so you could see here that the previous is 227K, right? And the actual is 336K. What does that mean? It's a good news. It's a good news, guys. It's a good news. It is a good news. So what are you expecting for USD JPY, all right, or for USD NZD, all right? For any currency that USD is the quote currency, you are expecting a buy, right? Right? So, but for any currency that USD is the counter currency, you are expecting a sell, right? So let us go to the chart. And that was 6th of October. Is that 6th? Okay, I think I made a mistake here. Previously it was 12 for CPI. It was 12th of October, right? I went to 6th. So that's this is the CPI. Sorry, I showed us non-farm payroll, but this is the CPI. You could see it was a sell. All right, it was a sell. So now we are looking at non-farm payroll. So remember, this CPI was a buy for USD JPY, all right, because there USD was the quote currency. So but here USD is the counter currency, is the second one, all right. So now we're talking about non-farm payroll, and we can see that it is a good news. What we saw there means that more jobs were added. So let's open USD JPY and go to 6th of October. All right, so this is USD JPY, right? 6th of October, and this is 1:30 p.m. GMT plus 1. Like we said, the news was a good news, right? So you can see the effect of that news. You can see this bullish momentum candle, right? Yeah, someone may say, but the price later dropped. Yes, it happens sometimes, right? Especially when there are several news, okay? But this is the effect of that good news we saw in NFP, all right? This bullish candle. All right, so let me show you why possibly price retraced. You could see there are other news that came out around that 1:30, still for USD. All right, there is average hourly earnings. You can see it was not really a good news because the previous was same as their actual, right? And that's why you're seeing red, okay? And you can see unemployment rate too, all right? There was really no change, all right? That's why it's red. So this was the only good news we had for USD. Other ones was on CAD, right? So it could be all these other news that now made USD to drop immediately after it responded to the NFP good news. All right, so this is actually how to interpret this news data. So there are several other news datas. We have the interest rate, we have the FOMC, we have the unemployment claims. There are several of them. All right. So let me give you a clue on how to search about them. All right, any news you see on Forex Factory that wants to come out, I'm giving us example with US dollar. All right, you can do news on CAD, you can check out for news on GBP. All right, any currency you want to trade, just look out for news. All right, in those currencies, look out for news, interpret them. How do you interpret them? You have your Google Chrome. Are we together? You have your Google Chrome. Go to your Google Chrome, ask how to interpret Canadian unemployment rate, right? Things like that. There are several news that can come out. More like, let's say, looking for a high impact news for a non. Okay, let's look at this now. This USD steel. I wanted to use a different one. Let's say this PPI. I did not talk about PPI. All right, so you can just go to your Google Chrome, type how to interpret PPI news. All right, you will read it. After reading it, you will understand what PPI means and how to interpret it. All right, yeah. So Google is there to help you. Your Firefox, all of those search engines and here are there to help you. All right, so you get to read, okay? Because I may not go ahead interpreting all the news, but showing you how to read and understand the data. All right, it's the best. So go to Google. You can even use your Chat GPT. I believe we understand Chat GPT, right? Is an AI powered software that helps you do lots of things. So you could just go ask Chat GPT, explain to me how to interpret PPI news. Just simple. ChatGPT will provide you the information. All right, so thank you for staying tuned. All right, I believe you got some value from this class, so I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Stay safe.